'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shoes on, get up in the morning, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. Kink out, kick the drum, rolling on like a rolling stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top of LeBron. Ding dong, call me on my phone, nice tea and I'll get my ping pong.
This is getting heavy, can't hear the bass, boom, I'm ready. Life is sweet as honey, yeah, this beat chain like money.
This go overload, I'm into that, I'm good to go. I'm diamond, you know I glow up.
Hey, so let's go.
'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light.
Hey,
Shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light
Hello grade 2 pupils! This video lesson will cover the week 14 and 15 of our science class. So to formally start our discussion today, kindly get your science book for your reference. Okay, so this time, kindly open your book on page 220. Let us discuss the lesson 34. It's about how shadows form and change. Okay, so what is a shadow? And how does it form? So when you walk across the street, you notice something dark attached to your feet. What it is? Okay, so that is your shadow. Okay, a shadow is produced when your body blocks a source of light. So, as long as there is light, your shadow is there to stay. So, just look at the picture here. There is light, so there is a something dark attached to the feet of the child. Okay, so this one. So this one is the shadow of a child, and this one is the shadow of this one. Okay, so no shadows can be formed when there is no light. So a shadow also cannot form under the shade. Okay, so let us look at this one. Morning, noon, and afternoon. Okay, so shadow can change in size. They are smallest in the middle of the day. So look at this one. During noontime, okay, the shadow is smallest. Okay, not like this and this one. Okay, so they are longest in the afternoon, in early morning and late in the afternoon. Okay, so longer ang shadow kung morning o late afternoon. Okay, so shadows get bigger when an object is close to the light source. And they get smaller when an object is far away from the light source. So, kung ang sun or light dool sa object, then the shadow is big. Okay, so when the object is far away from the light, so the shadow will get smaller. Okay, so a shadow is formed when an object blocks the light that shines on it. A shadow always appears opposite to the light source. A shadow always joins the feet or base of an object. So the size of the shadows depends on the object's distance from the light source. Okay, so let's proceed to lesson 35, page 224. It's about how sounds are produced. Okay, so how sounds are produced? Lesson. What do you hear? Is there a person talking? Is there a music playing? Okay, so sound is energy that you can hear through your ears. People, animals, and even objects make sounds. Okay, so watch what happens when guitar strings are strummed. Observe that the surface of the drums when they are hit. So sounds are produced by allowing things vibrate. Okay, so objects vibrate to make a sound. Okay, so musical instrument vibrates to make music. So there are different ways to make objects vibrate. Okay, so in this object, you will hit or tap so that it can produce sound. And this one, you will shake this object to make a sound. Then, the guitar, you need to pluck or strum so that it can produce sound. And this one, you will press the keyboard so that it can make sound. Then this one, the whistle, and this one, you will blow so that it can produce also sounds. Okay, so to vibrate means to move back and forth quickly. So you hear sound when the vibration reaches your ears. Okay, so we can also use our bodies to make sounds. We can snap our fingers. Just do like this. Okay, then it can produce sounds. Or you will clap your hands. Then it can produce sounds. Stamp our feet and rub our skin to make sound. But one thing, special way to make sound is by speaking or singing. Okay, so when we speak, when we sing, then there is a sound. Okay, so fill your throat with your hand as you speak. Diba? It vibrates when you talk or let air out of it. Okay, so sound is energy that can be heard through the ears. So sound is produced by moving or vibrating objects. So sound is useful in many ways. Okay, so let's proceed to lesson 36. It's about kinds of sounds. Page 228. Walk along a very busy street in your neighborhood. Name all the things that made a sound in your trip. Okay, so did you hear people talking or vendors shouting? Okay, so sound help us communicate. We can tell others what we think and what to do. Did you hear cars honking or traffic enforcers whistling? Sounds help us send warning. So we can use sound to keep us alert and away from danger. So did you hear music played in jeepneys or stores nearby? Sounds help us entertained. We can listen to music to relax. Okay, so how can you compare the sounds that you hear in your trip? Okay, so we can hear different sounds around us. Okay, so we can describe them in many ways. Okay, so there are sounds that are loud. They can sometimes make our ears hurt. Just like a shout or an alarm. So there are also those that are soft. They are sometimes hard to hear. Just like a whisper or the blowing wind. Okay, so there are sounds that are high. They are very sharp sound, just like a whistle or a squeal. There are also those that are low. They are very deep sounds, just like a motor engine or a post-hole drill. Okay, so again, sounds can be loud or soft. Examples of loud sounds are those produced by drums, while soft sounds can be a whisper of your friend. Okay, sounds can also be high pitch or low pitch. An example of high sound is squealing or siren of an ambulance. An example of a low sound is produced by a motor engine. Okay, so let's proceed to lesson 37, page 234, effects of electricity. So how does electricity affect our lives? Okay, so observe the television in your house. What does the television need to make it work? How does its remote control? Okay, so television and its remote control require electricity to work. Okay, so the television gets electricity if you put the plug into the socket. So the remote works if you put a battery in it. So, look around you. What are the other things need electricity to work? Okay, so electricity can help us in many things. However, we must always use it with caution to avoid accidents and harm it can bring to us. Okay, so do not insert too many plugs into the same socket. Okay, just like in the picture. So you are not allowed to plug all the plugs in the same socket. Okay, so an overloaded socket is dangerous and can cause fire. Okay, so if your socket will be overloaded, so it can be dangerous and can cause fire. Okay, so tuck and keep all electrical cords neatly. Having long wires can go across the floor can accidentally trip someone. Okay, so just like this one, you need to keep all the electrical cords neatly. So, imo na siyang i-roll. Okay, so do not insert anything other than a plug into a socket. Okay, so you are not allowed to insert anything on the socket aside from the plug. Okay, putting other things into a socket can cause fire or electric shock to your body. So just like if you will plug the fork, okay, into the socket, then it can cause fire or electric shock to your body. So beware of this thing. Okay, so keep electric wires, plugs, and sockets away from water. So electricity can flow through water and touching it can also cause electric shock. So kailangan ang imong socket dili siya duol sa naay mga tubig. Then be sure pod nga if you will plug into the socket, kinahanglan dry ang imong hands para dili ka makakuan og electric shock. Okay, so what are other ways of keeping yourself safe while handling electricity? Okay, so we must conserve electricity. This will help us pay less for electricity. So we need to conserve the electricity because the electricity bill is so expensive now. So if we will conserve it, so makahelp na siya nga makapay na less sa atong electricity. Then, unplug and store away the wire of an appliance that is not in use. Okay, so if you are not using that appliances, so you need to unplug that appliances in the socket para di makalas ang kuryente. Okay, so remove the batteries of a device if it will not be used for a long time. Okay, so for example, you will have your vacation trip to Boracay. Okay, it will take long. So, you need to unplug the battery of your remote control so that kanang dili siya makalas. Even if wala siya gamita, but pero kung gitaod na siya, makakuha na gyapon na siya og makakuha sa battery. So, you need to unplug or you need to remove the battery. Okay, next, always remember that appliances are not plugged on or with batteries still consume energy even when they are switched off. Okay, so avoid using many appliances at once. Doing this will cause overload to the power source. Let natural light from the sun or wind enter the house to lessen the use of appliances. This helps conserve electricity used in the day. Okay, so if it is daytime, so of course you need to turn off you need to turn off the light. Kay naman siya light nga comes from the sun. So if the weather is cold, so dili na siya magamit og electric fan kay cold naman ang weather. So let the wind enter your house para ma-lessen ang consumption sa electricity. Okay, so use LED bulbs because this provide better lighting at lower electricity cost. Okay, so electricity is a form of energy needed by some devices to work. Okay, so that is why nowadays electricity is very important due to our modern days. So, kinahanglan na jud ta og electricity. Okay, so a battery is a storage of electrical energy that can be used when needed. So, seldom na sad kaayo karon ang mga appliances nga operated by a battery. Kasagaran karon nga gipanggamit is appliances nga nag-need jud og electricity. Okay, so let's proceed to the unit 4, the earth and the sky. Okay, so earth is made up of several parts. Each part affects and is affected by all other parts. Okay, so in this unit, we will be able to study the surface of the earth, the clouds and the weather, the daytime and the nighttime in the sky. Okay, so look at the picture here. Okay, so the picture shows a part of our big home called Earth. Earth, it is where we live, right? It is the home of all people, animals, and plants. Okay, so what makes the Earth a good place to live on? Okay, so what covers the Earth's surface? A long time ago, people thought that Earth was flat. Now we know that Earth is not flat. It is round like a ball. Look at the picture of the Earth. What does it show about Earth's surface? Okay, so this one. This is a picture of the Earth. The Earth is look like this. Okay, so this is a globe. It represents the Earth. The green and the yellow parts represents the Earth's landforms. Okay, so this one, the green and the yellow parts, okay, so this one, it represents the landform. And how about the blue parts, this one? Okay, so the blue parts represents the bodies of water. Okay, so what is a globe? Okay, so a globe like the one that is shown here, it represents the Earth. So it shows the surface of the Earth is made up of land and water. Okay, so the part of the globe that is colored blue represents the water. Then the remaining parts represents the land. Okay, so first we will discuss the lesson 38, page 248. It's about the Earth's land. Okay, so what features are found on the Earth's land? Okay, so the outside or top part of the Earth is its surface. Okay, so first we will discuss about the land. Okay, about 1/4 of the Earth's surface is land. Land is the solid part of the Earth's surface. It is made up of rocks and soil. Okay, so soil covers most of the land. Okay, so just like the picture here. This is an example of a land. Okay, so what is found on the surface of the Earth? Land has natural features with different shapes. It has plains, mountains, hills, valleys, and volcanoes. Okay, so look at the picture here. This is an example of a plain. A plain is a large area of flat land. Most people live on plains. Okay, this picture. Okay, so this picture shows a mountain. A mountain is a high rocky land that is much taller than the land around it. It has steep sides and a pointed and rounded top. Okay, so I know that most of you have seen already a mountain. Okay, so next is the hill. Okay, so this one. A hill is a highland that is lower than a mountain. Okay, so a mountain is high, then lower of that mountain is a hill. Okay, this one. Example of hills is the Chocolate Hills. Okay, so next we have a valley. This one. This is a valley looks like. Okay, so a valley that is a lowland that is between hills and mountains. It is usually has a river flowing through it. Okay, so there is a mountain here, a mountain or a hill. Then, between of these two highland, okay, there is a lowland here, which is what we call the valley. Then we have the plateau, this one. Okay, so a plateau is a flat land on a high place. Some people live on plateaus. Okay, then we have the last one. We have a volcano. Okay, so this one. Okay, a volcano is usually a mountain that opens downward to the pool of molten rock below the surface of the earth. Okay, so those are the different Earth's land. Okay, so about 1/4 of the Earth's surface is land. Land is the solid part of the Earth's surface. Okay, so some features of lands are plains, mountains, plateaus, valleys, hills, and volcanoes. So these features give the land its shape. Okay, so there is a science fact that the highest mountain is in the Philippines is Mount Apo. It is located between Davao City and Davao del Sur province and the Cotabato province. Okay, so then we will proceed to the next lesson 39, page 254. The Earth's water. Okay, so what features are found on the Earth's water? Okay, so water covers about 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Okay, so 1/4 of that is the land and 3/4 of the Earth's surface is the water. Okay, so almost all over the Earth is salt water. Only a very small part that is fresh water. Okay, so let us study the picture. Okay, so this is the Earth's water. Okay, this portion is just a fresh water. Then we have here, this portion is the salt water or the oceans. Okay, so imagine that all Earth's water is placed on the large jar. Salt water almost fills the jar. Okay, so what is salt water? Salt water is too salty for people to drink. It is found in oceans and seas. Seas are smaller than oceans. They are part of larger ocean and are nearby or connected to the land. Okay, so this picture is salt water. Okay, then we have the fresh water. Okay, so fresh water is found in the Earth's surface, under the surface, and as ice in the glaciers and ice caps. Okay, so the picture below shows how much fresh water there is. Okay, so this is the fresh water. This portion is groundwater. The colored orange is the others. Then this blue one is the surface water. Then here the big portion of the fresh water is the ice caps and glaciers. Okay, so water in rivers, lakes, ponds, and streams on the Earth's surface is fresh water. Okay, so what is a groundwater? Groundwater is water under the ground, of course. Water pumps are used and wells are dug to get groundwater from it. Okay, just in our dialect, that is puso. Okay, so a river, what is a river? It is salog. Yes. A river is a large stream of water that flows downhill across the land. It empties into a large bodies of water. Okay, so a lake. This one is the river. Okay, it is from the mountain. And this one is the lake. So a lake, it is a large body of water that is surrounded by the land. Okay, so there is a land here. Then the water here is flowing. Okay, so a pond. What is a pond? A pond, it is just like a lake, but it is just smaller than the lake. Okay, then we have the glaciers and the ice caps. Okay, so most fresh waters is in glaciers and ice caps, and so cannot be reached by people. A glacier is a thick ice that covers a large area of the land. Glaciers and ice caps cover about 1/10 of the Earth's land. Okay, so this picture is the glacier. Okay, then we have the rain. Okay, so the rain that falls from the clouds is also fresh water. Okay, so I know that you already know what is a rain. Okay, so to summarize the topic, about 3/4 of the Earth's surface is water, and most of Earth's water is salt water. Only a small part is fresh water. So salt water is water in the oceans and seas. Fresh water is the water in rivers, streams, lakes, groundwater, glaciers, and ice caps. Okay, so much more fresh water is found underground than in rivers and lakes. Most fresh water on Earth exists in glaciers and ice caps, but these water sources cannot be reached by people. Okay, so we have science fact that 5 bodies of water surrounded the Philippines. These are the Philippine Sea, the West Philippine Sea, the Sulu Sea, and the Celebes Sea, which is found in the south and the west. And these seas are part of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so for more information about Earth's surface, please watch this video.
Our Earth. Do you know where you live? Yes, we live on the planet Earth. The Earth is the 3rd planet in our solar system. We are so lucky to be living on Earth. Our Earth is different from the other planets. It has life. No other planet has life. It has air and water too. Atmosphere of the Earth. The Earth is surrounded by a layer of gases. This layer is called atmosphere. The atmosphere protects our Earth from the harmful rays of the sun. It also helps to keep the temperature of the Earth steady. The atmosphere consists of two main gases, oxygen and nitrogen. There are also other gases like carbon dioxide, argon, etc., which are present in very small quantities. Water on Earth. 3/4 of the Earth is covered with water. Only 1/4 is land, which consists of soil, sand, and rocks. The oceans and seas are the biggest bodies of salt water. Melting snow and rain flow down high hills and mountains to form rivers. This is fresh water. A lake is a large body of standing water which is fresh. A pond is a smaller body of fresh water. These water bodies are found in nature. They are natural. There are man-made lakes and ponds too. Landforms. Plains are flatlands. Hills and mountains are higher than plains. Mountains are the highest places in the world. The peaks of most mountains are covered with snow. Forests are areas where many trees grow. These trees grow very close to each other.
Okay, so that would be all for this week, grade 2 peoples. I hope you have learned something new today. And if you have any questions or clarification, don't hesitate to message me on my messenger account, or you can raise your clarification during our virtual discussion. Keep safe and God bless everyone!